Alright guys, today we are going to do this look here. I thought I would go a little more in depth and do a really easy, effortless fall look that's still glamorous and beautiful on anyone. I've been noticing a lot on YouTube, people are doing so many dramatic looks, and I just thought if you're a beginner, you're gonna come on and think like, I don't know how to do any of this. So I wanted to step it back a little bit to do something really simple. My looks have been a bit more on the dramatic side lately anyways, so I thought this would be a little more helpful, just going a bit more instructional on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I hope you guys like this look. It's a bit more on the, I still think it's glamorous, like it's a really pretty look, and I think it would suit absolutely anyone. But let's just get straight into the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, give this video a thumbs up, ring the bell, and leave your comments below. Let's just get right into this look. Let's get right into the look. I'm gonna start with my Tom Ford Cocoa Mirage palette and dip into the lightest transition shade. I've already gone ahead and primed my eyes with my NARS Pro Primer in the shade medium and set it with a translucent powder just to make the blending on top easier. I think that's really important if you want your blending to be very effortless. So we're just going in with that shade, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press this onto my outer corner because I like my lid to have a bit of depth out there. I feel like it gives my eye a bit of a lift, and I have smaller eyes, so I like how that looks. So I'm just gonna press that color there first, and then I'm going to bring it up into my crease. I start on the outer crease because that's where I want the most color to be, and then I bring it slowly inwards. And then I turn my brush actually onto the side to help blend it upwards. So we're gonna do that on both sides. This will help give your eyes a more eye-opening appearance, so you look kind of wide awake. That brush I just used was my Wayne Goss 18. And now just to soften things up, just if you ever feel like things are looking a little too harsh, you're not used to doing this, just take your clean brush, or if it's looking extra harsh, then take a brush with a little bit of powder over it, and just run over those edges just to help soften things up. You don't have to start all over again. You can actually really help clean things up just by going in with a clean brush or a brush with your powder on it. It honestly is helpful. So like I said, I want this to be a super simple look, so we're just going in with one more shade. I'm gonna take my Bobbi Brown Luxe Eyeshadow Rich Metal in the shade Heat Ray. You can just take any shimmer shade that you like. I was debating using the Hourglass Scattered Lights, but I've used them so much lately, so I thought I'd switch it up with this guy. This is really beautiful. I don't hear many people talk about this formula. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Chantecaille, but it's truly lovely. So I'm going in with my Sony G Builder Pro, I think I already said that. And I'm just getting a bit of product on the brush, tapping that off, and then just pressing onto the lid. You don't need to wet these. They just go on beautifully. You can also go in with a finger, and I just press from the inner to outer corner, but I'm not going all the way to the outer corner because I still want a bit of that matte brown to show through it. And then another thing you can do is just go over top with your crease brush and just go over the edges just to make sure you still have that depth out there. And just run through the crease a little bit too. Next, I'm just gonna take the lightest cream shade in this palette and I'm gonna highlight my brow bone. I like how this looks. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it just helps lift my eye up a little bit. So just like that, I only apply it, I don't go all the way across the brow bone just because I feel like that can look a little too dramatic and maybe a little too intense. So I just like to put it right under the arch there. I'm gonna go ahead and apply my mascara, and then I'll be back and we can work on the face. Mascara is applied, and before we move on to the face, I just want to mention something that might help you guys out. So when I apply my mascara, I'm definitely really messy, and I get it all over my eyelids. I have long lashes, so that just happens. So what I do is I wait for that to dry, and then I take it off with a Q-tip, but sometimes my shadow kind of goes missing because of that. So what I find helpful is to actually go back in with my crease brush and lid brush, and I just put like one dab of product on and get the excess off on my hand, and then I just go over the edges just to make sure that color is still on there, and then again I would press over the lid. I had already done this previously, but just in case you're like, oh, okay, that Q-tip removed all my color, you can go ahead and try that out. So next what I'm going to do is move on to the face. I'm going in with my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. I definitely want to have smooth skin. So I take a little bit of that product, you only need like a pea size, the tiniest amount will do you, and just press it in my pore areas here. So I don't actually like press it like this, I kind of swipe it into the skin, just like that. And I find that this works the best with this product. This primer is really, truly the most smoothing primer I've ever used. If you are looking for something to reduce your pore size, I really enjoy this one. I like to use 2 primers just because I do like that pore filling, and then I always use another primer to help with whatever my skin is kind of feeling that day. So today I feel a little bit dry, but not super duper dry, and I also want my makeup to last a while. So in this case, I would go ahead and use something a bit more gripping. So I'm gonna go in with my Sisley Double Tenseur. Again, if you were feeling a bit more dry, you might wanna go in with a hydrating primer. And then I just press this all over the skin. I love this primer. Definitely makes the makeup adhere to the skin really beautifully. Taking my Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I still haven't bought another concealer, but I'm just gonna apply that under the eyes. And I do like to apply a little bit to the outer corners of my eyes because I have darkness there. And I do suggest if you are a beginner to try this method out, or if you're feeling like your concealer isn't blending into your foundation right, or it's lifting off. I really feel like this will help a lot of people out. So I really like this technique. So I'm just gonna blend that in. I want a glowy base today, so I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. Nothing new here. I pretty much always use this. You obviously don't have to do this step if you don't want to, but I just love the glow it gives to my skin and kind of the health and radiance it adds back in because I am more on the dry side. Moving right along to foundation, going in with my Tom Ford stick foundation, and I like to just take it on the foundation stick itself, like from my sponge, and then I kind of tap off the excess onto my hand because I want this blended kind of into the sponge a little bit so it applies more naturally. And I actually am feeling a little more dry than I originally thought, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray my Too Faced Hangover. I just like to do like 2 sprays, and then that will add a bit of hydration back to my skin. So I actually think foundation sticks are pretty beginner friendly. I mean, I don't know, I guess it depends on the person, but I wouldn't go in just doing the stripes all over your face. I don't think that would work out too well, but I do like stick foundations and think they're pretty easy to use. I love this foundation stick, especially in the fall time. It adds that, it's not too much of a hydrating stick foundation. It still gives like a natural matte finish. So I think it's perfect for that kind of transition into these colder months. And it's definitely cooled down here. We have like, our weather forecast is pretty sad looking. There's like 14 days of rain. Alrighty, moving right along to powder. I'm gonna take my I always call it Huda Beauty Loose Baking Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And I think this is an important step here. So what I do is I press my sponge into the powder, and then I take all the excess off so that I just have a light amount of powder just sitting there. And I don't bake, I just press that light amount into my under eyes, just really lock that into place, but it's not gonna look heavy and like you have a huge amount of powder there. It's just gonna set things nicely and add a bit of hydration into the skin because we're using that damp sponge. We're gonna go ahead and finish off the under eyes quick before moving back to the face, and I'm gonna take that transition shade that we used on our top lid. And what I do with this is I tap off the excess and then I dab off the excess product on my hand before moving on to my skin. And I do that on the top lid as well. So we're blending this from the outer corner. I like to start out here and then move slowly inwards. And then again, remember to bring that up to your top lid on the outer corner to make sure it all connects so there's not like a weird gap out here when someone's looking at you from the side. I'm gonna quickly highlight the inner corner using the highlight I'm gonna use on my face. So I'm taking my Tom Ford Reflex Gilt. I'm using that top kind of gold shade. And we're just going to put this on the inner corner. And then to finish off, I like to also bring it a little bit onto the inner corner of the eye, just to add a little bit of that there. And it's kind of nice if you want to focus it on the inner lower lash line as well, just to add a touch of shine there. And it kind of, again, helps you look wide awake and a little brighter. Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder, and I'm going to take just a light amount, so I like to dab it in just a few times, and again, I take the excess off on the back of my hand, and then I press it into the skin. I don't like to buff like this because, well, one, I have dry skin, and I find that it can sometimes pick up on dry patches, so I like to just press it in, and I also find that pressing in powder helps reduce pore size or texture, or the appearance of texture as well. So just in the center of my face. I don't like to apply powder everywhere. I like a really light application because I still want my skin to look like skin and have that texture of skin, obviously. I don't want it to look like powder sitting on my skin. I forgot to mention before powder, I did go ahead and I applied lower lash mascara, and I also tightlined using my Milk Boss eyeliner. It's just a black eyeliner, and you just put it on your upper waterline. Moving right along to bronzer, I'm going to use my Dior Mineral Nude Bronzer in the shade Wild Earth. And I love this formula so much. It's just, I don't know, it just glides on the skin so nice. It's not too pigmented. It's that perfect amount of warmth. It's so pretty, and it has the right, it's not totally matte, it has the right amount of sheen to it. So I'm just applying it on the tip layer as I would, just a little bit on the temples, on the cheekbones. I do like to go across the nose to add that kind of sun-kissed effect, and then the jawline as well, just to start warming everything up. Don't forget to bring this a little bit down the neck and into the hairline because you don't want that awkward gap. Blush, I am going to use the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blush in the shade Blurred Buff. That is the biggest tongue twister ever. I just love this formula. I was gonna make this an all luxury look, but honestly guys, I've been just loving this blush. I can't put it down. I feel like I wanna wear it every day. I have to kind of force myself not to use it. So for this step, again, I always take a little bit of that product off on my hand and I start to press it in the skin. Again, I do not like to sweep my products like this because I find it picks up on my texture, my dry patches, any pores that I have. So I do like to press it in my skin, and I just go back and forth. And I find, well, this way you don't need to. All right, so rude, my camera just cut me off. But as I was saying, I like to press my blush into my skin just because I like the blend that it gives. And I also find I don't have to use as much pigment just because I am pressing it into the skin. Okay, we're moving back into highlighter, going back in with our Tom Ford Reflex Gilt, that gold shade, or whatever highlighter you want. We're just applying this to the high points of the face. So I like to apply this to the cheekbones, of course. And then I do like to bring it up to the temples, just up here, just because I like that kind of youthful glow it gives. I love the tone of this highlighter too. It's like that perfect champagne gold. It's really nice. And I just love how this sits on the skin. We're almost done here, guys. So I thought for my last step, I'd talk a bit more about buffing. I'm going to go in with the Guerlain Meteorites. I'm going to take it in this compact though. I just feel like maybe the compact would be a little easier. So I just dip into that and then I blend over everything. But I'm keeping my hand very light. So I'm just lightly going over the skin. I just feel like this adds the most perfect blended look. Like all your products just kind of melt into your skin and you won't see that distinct line between your products. And I just find it adds that gorgeous healthy glow too if you are going to use a more kind of glowing powder. I just love this technique so much. I feel like it's honestly changed the way my makeup looks and to get that more natural appearance. We have finally finished the face. I'm gonna move on to the lips, and I'm gonna start by actually applying my lipstick. So I'm going in with my Pat McGrath Donatella lipstick. I love this one. And I should mention I went ahead and I applied a little lip balm. I just used my Fenty one, just because my lips are super dry. I feel like this is the easiest way if you're just starting out with like lip liner and for it to look the most natural. Go in with your lipstick first and then just go in with a really natural tone. So I'm taking my Chanel number 34 lip liner. First I'm gonna kind of pat this into my lips and then I'm gonna go and line my lips. For final step, I'm just gonna add Love Potion from McGrath just right onto the center. And again, I do my favorite little technique of just patting that in to get that more natural appearance. I mean, obviously my lips don't look natural by any means. And I know a lot of people use setting sprays, but I actually don't like to use a setting spray until I've had my makeup on for about 20 minutes because I don't know how it's going to end up sinking into my skin. I usually find by the time 20 minutes has passed, my makeup looks really good and I don't need one. But if I am using a particularly mattifying foundation, then I will use a more hydrating, like a dewy skin mist, but that's just my preference. Anyways, we have completed the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this really easy, everyday fall makeup look. I wanted to do something that was beginner friendly because I know a lot of times on YouTube everything is a little bit crazy and over the top, so I just thought I'd bring it back down, do something a bit more in depth. So I hope you guys enjoyed the look we created today. Obviously you can use whatever products that you have available. You don't even need to go into the Tom Ford shadow I use. Go in with your bronzer and really make this a more monochromatic look. Use any shimmer shade you want. I just wanted to go over more of the techniques, and of course I do love my luxury beauty products, and I just feel really pretty and put together in this makeup, and I like that I didn't have to do too much to get here. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll see you in my next video.